Hello, everyone. I see there's some people in the chat already. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Even good afternoon, even good evening, depending on where you're joining us from right now. Welcome to today's new in Survicate Improved Salesforce Integration live webinar. How's everybody doing today? I see the chat. Nice. Hello, Thomas, Basha, Zaid, Basha again. Hello, everybody. I'd like to take this opportunity to personally thank you for taking the time out of your day to being here. It truly means a lot to us, and we're excited to get started. My name is Maciek, and I'm the digital customer success manager here, and I'll be your host for today. And let me hit the next slide here. Okay, and with me is Ailul, who is the head of customer success at Survicate. And in a little bit, she'll be demonstrating for us the improved Salesforce integration. So, hello everyone once again, and thank you for being here with us. We got some cool stuff in store for you, so stay tuned. All right, but before we get to the really good stuff, let's quickly go over some housekeeping first. Let's see here, what do we got? So for anybody wondering, yes, this webinar will be recorded and sent to you after this session ends. So if you feel like you missed something and want to go back and review it later, no worries, we got you covered. During today's webinar session and live demonstration, we strongly encourage you to write any questions you may have pertaining to today's topic or beyond in the chat on the side there. Paulina will be in the trenches with you all, picking out the best questions. And you're probably asking, what are the best questions? Well, I guess Paulina will decide. So if you don't get chosen, you know who to blame. I'm kidding, of course. If we don't get to your question, don't worry, because we'll have a record of every question asked. So we'll be getting back to you, even if we didn't get a chance to address it during the webinar. All right. So what are we going to learn about today? You're probably asking yourself. Well, this next slide will help us answer that question. Today you'll learn why you should connect Survicate with Salesforce. So I'll give you a little information as to what each integration does, and that will lead us into a real life use case demonstration where Ailul will show you how you can connect Survicate with Salesforce and how to automate feedback and streamline it to Salesforce. And that's awesome. So for anybody new to Survicate, there might be a few of you here. Essentially, it's a survey tool that helps you gather continuous customer insights from your website, product, email, and mobile applications. And one of our more popular tools that we integrate with is Salesforce, a robust CRM that helps businesses interact with their customers throughout all the stages of their journey. And when combined, the benefits of connecting the two are truly awesome. Allow me to explain in this next slide here why should you connect Survicate with Salesforce? Well, it's a sure way to enrich Salesforce data with insights from Survicate surveys, meaning you can map survey responses to any field in Salesforce standard objects. So objects like lead, contact, company, account, and all that good stuff, as well as custom objects as well. Another benefit of this integration is the ability to automate how you collect customer feedback. So essentially, you can create automatic workflows based on survey responses. So maybe you'd like to send this Survicate CSAT survey after closing a case. No problem, you can do that as well. And last but not least, you can easily improve collaboration and decision making by allowing different teams to access customer feedback. Okay. And some last housekeeping reminder before Ailul begins her demonstration. In case you just joined us, I'd like to remind you that this session is being recorded. So if you missed anything thus far or simply would like to review it later, we'll send you that recording afterwards. So don't worry. Don't forget to write in your questions in the chat throughout the session because we'll get to answer some of those during the Q&A portion later today. Okay, so less talking, more showing. Without further ado, besides being generally an awesome and kind person, she's helped countless of clients achieve their desired outcomes with Survicate for going on how long has it been? 5 years now. And she's been working with Salesforce for the past 3 years. So you're in good hands. It is my pleasure to introduce to you once again our speaker, Elul.
Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see such a turnout. Thank you so much again for joining us here today. We are really excited to share with you the improved Salesforce integration and things that you can do and more things that you can do with your surveys via Salesforce. All right, so let's maybe get right to it. So first, I would like to start by saying a little bit of backstory of what we are going to talk about today. Well, this is the real life example. This is the person, this is the company that we were thinking of when we were thinking of how to demonstrate our use case. Basically, you are a customer centric business because because if you wouldn't be, then you wouldn't be here listening to this webinar, right? You want to gather regular feedback from your customers and understand their satisfaction levels and identify areas for improvement. This way, you will be able to take action based on customer feedback and improve overall customer experience. And this is how we are going to do it today. First, we are going to talk about how we can send an NPS survey to our customers when their lifecycle stage in Salesforce changes, how to pass those survey responses to NPS surveys custom object, how to identify and match responses with accounts and contacts that already exist in Salesforce, notifying the stakeholders, for example, your support team, your product team, etc., upon detractor or passive feedback, and finally automating marketing communication, like a referral program invitation or similar communications to our promoters to support marketing efforts. So this is the shape of how what we are going to talk about today. First, we are going to create an NPS survey in Survicate together. Then we are going to see how we can connect those survey responses with our NPS survey custom object in Salesforce, and how to associate the correct survey response with the correct account and contact that exist in Salesforce. Then we are going to see how we can share the survey with our customers. We are going to do this by automating our NPS survey email trigger in Salesforce when we change the lifecycle stage field in Salesforce. And finally, we will delve into how to act based on our customers' feedback. So I will make sure to include various tips and tricks that you can apply to other use cases as well. And as Maciej mentioned, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So make sure to drop your questions in the chat because we will be getting back to them. All right, so let's jump right into Survicate panel. We are going to create a survey together, as I mentioned. For the ones that are new to Survicate, we offer 4 different survey channels, essentially. You can send your surveys with email or shareable link. You can run it on your website or in product. You can send it via your you can launch it in your mobile application, or if you're using Intercom Messenger, then you can also send survey inside Intercom Messenger chat. So for today, we are going to create an email or shareable link survey together because we want to send an email via Salesforce. But Salesforce integration works with all of those 4 survey channels. So you can apply similar steps to each of those surveys, and you will be able to use Salesforce integration in either cases. All right, so I will start from a template to save some time. We are going to use the NPS Net Promoter Score template, and then we are going to modify our survey later on. All right, so the idea that I have for my NPS survey is this. The customers for my customers that are detractors or passive, so the ones that collect 0 to 8, replied 0 to 8, I would like to ask them what is the reason for their score, and I would like to give them a predefined set of options with the option to add other. And for the rest of my customers, I would like to add different follow-up questions based on the answers that they give. Right, and then also for this detractors and passives, I would like to include additional open-ended question just so that they can leave any additional feedback that they might have. And for my customers that are promoters, so the ones that gave me 9 or 10, I would like to just ask them whether what do they like the most about my product, and then that's where the survey will finish. So let's go ahead and alter our template to do that. So first I'm going to add a question from my question library. I already have it saved right here. Okay, so this will be my second question. So here, whenever my customer gives any of the response that includes missing features, I want to ask them what are the features that are, what is the feature that's missing? So let's go ahead and add that question. What features were missing? Perfect. So I will not be needing this question anymore now. And for this one, maybe let's change it to, is there anything else you'd like to share? Okay. And final question, I'm going to keep it the same way. Let's go ahead and set up the survey logic now. Basically, survey logic is a feature that allows you to create branches within your survey, so that you can give every response its own interaction path. On the topic of survey logic, actually, we also kind of recently shipped another improvement to our survey logic, that today you can build more complex logical flows with the more complex logical branches, and also you can use survey logic for some question types that it didn't offer it in the past, like multiple question and matrix question. So we're going to make use of that as today. Okay, so if the response is between 0 to 8, then go to the next question. If the response is between 9 to 10, then, okay, then skip those questions and only go to the fifth question. Then finally, okay, what is the main reason for your score? Let's do it if the response includes, because I only want to show the next missing features question to the ones that answered missing features. If the response includes missing features, then show them what features were missing. If the response does not include missing features, then skip that third question. Do not ask them what features are missing and only show them the third question. So this question is not going to be changed. For this one, yes, this is going to finish the survey, and the next question is also going to finish the survey. Perfect. So this is all about creating the questions of the survey. Let's also go ahead and change the design quickly. I'm just going to pick something from pre-made templates. Let's go with the classic black one. Because I also want to embed the first question of my survey inside this Salesforce email that I'm going to build, I want to change the email template of my survey. For now, I'm just going to change the button colors to this pretty purple color right here. All right, so we have built our survey. Now, let's go ahead and talk about how to pass our survey responses to Salesforce. So you can, in the Connect tab of the survey that you're going to build, this is where you can modify and enable all the integrations for your survey. Let's find Salesforce here. All right. So on the topic of Salesforce, as the title of our webinar suggests, we recently taken some steps to improve integration with Salesforce, or more like, well, we actually sort of rebuilt it from scratch with a new code. And thanks to this, we made sure to address any kind of previous reliability issues. And also we made sure that it will be easy for us to add new features to this integration in the future. Along with these updates, we also released a new feature, which is called Object Relationships right here. This feature essentially allows you to create and manage relationships between different objects in Salesforce while you are passing survey responses there. But we're going to talk about each of these options in a moment. All right, so my Salesforce integration is already authenticated, so I'm seeing the settings page. But authenticating the integration is as simple as logging into your Salesforce account. So it's like a one-click integration. All right, so let's talk about the survey plan. What do we plan to do here? Basically, the plan for the survey is to pass the responses to a custom object that I already have in Salesforce called MPS surveys. I already have the fields created in Salesforce as well as my custom object, so I'm just going to be like sort of connecting them here with the survey settings. And then I'm going to pass my MPS score to the object, MPS score object in an MPS survey object in the MPS score field. And I also want to pass the open-ended questions to my to Salesforce. For that, I'm going to use an MPS follow-up field. Let's go ahead and set up that settings together. So for the first, as I said, I want to first pass my first question, which is an MPS question. The object I'm going to use here is called an MPS survey, and the field that I want to pass my survey responses is, I called it MPS score. I'm not going to, for today, I'm not going to pass second and third questions, but I only want to pass this open-ended feedback to Salesforce. So that's why I'm going to map the fourth and fifth questions as well. I'm going to use the same object to store my responses. This is a custom object, once again. And yes, follow up. And I'm going to map the fifth question to the same object as well. And same field, MPS follow-up. All right, before we move on, by default, we send the MPS field, MPS question field as the MPS group, but for the score, the field that I created in Salesforce, I want to send them as numeric values instead of mapped, their score group. So I'll just do that here before we move further. All right, now let's talk about object relationships. Basically, ideally, what I would like to do is to associate the contact and also the account that left the feedback with this custom object that I already have in Salesforce. So this is where this new feature of ours, object relationships, comes into place. So first, we need to pick the object that we have a relationship with, that we want to set up the relationship with. Basically, as long as you have a lookup relationship with your custom object and this object that you want to map the relationship, then you should be able to see this object in the drop-down field here. So in this case, I have a lookup relationship with account and contact object. So I'm seeing account and contact objects in the drop-down field. Let's go ahead and set up the object relationship. So my first object is the account object. The object that I'm going to match the relationship is the MPS survey object that I have, the custom one that I have in Salesforce, and the field is going to be the account field that I have in Salesforce. And next, let's also set up the contact object with the same. I'm seeing this object because this is the only object that I'm passing my survey response to. Then finally, relationship field is the contact object. All right, just to briefly go through also static values in Salesforce. I don't want to pass my survey responses as a static value today, but static values, essentially, they allow you to pass a field value regardless of the survey response. For example, if you want to mark every contact that participated in a given survey, then you can use a static field static mapping for that. Like in such case, let's say I want to pick the object, any object here, let's pick contact object, field, I can pick, I don't know, maybe a field with survey, okay, survey taken, and the static field value would be, for example, the name of the survey that I'm mapping the static value. But as I mentioned, for today, we are not going to be doing that. Okay. So let's talk about how we are going to, so now that we set up the integration, let's talk about how we are going to actually send the survey that we just created from Salesforce. All right, so as I mentioned, our goal today is to send MPS survey when a customer's lifecycle stages changed in Salesforce. So this way, we will make sure to constantly get the pulse of our customers and that constant stream of feedback is going on. But I would also like to embed the first question of my survey, my NPS question, inside the email. On the survey editor here under the share tab, you can pick first, you can pick which tool you'd like to send your survey with. In my case, this is Salesforce. Right. Okay, perfect. In my case, this is Salesforce. So, and when you scroll down a little bit under launch the email, you can find the code that you can use to embed the survey inside Salesforce. But before we do that, we need to add dynamic variables, in other words, merge tags into our survey URL. So these variables, these merge tags, when they are sent from Salesforce, they will generate a unique link for your respondent. And these unique links, essentially, they help you and they help us, Survicate, recognize the details and identify the person who is answering the survey. This is also the way of passing information to Survicate for further analysis from Salesforce. So, first thing that I want to do here is to identify my respondent, right? Who is the person that's actually answering the survey? For this, I need a unique identifier that will essentially help the integration to match this person or the object with the response. This way, I will know who answered the survey, and then I can get back to them and set up necessary automations and, to close the feedback loop. So, since one of the object relationships that I set up on the Connect tab previously was with the contact object, I'm going to use a contact email field as an identifier. So let's go ahead and add that field. You can also use contact ID here, email. All right. Yeah, but to be mindful here is that you need to set up a unique identifier for every object that you want to match with Salesforce, in Salesforce, right? Probably you also remember another object that I set up in Connect Up was also account object. So I need, now I also need another unique identifier to know, to understand which account to match the survey with. For this, I'm going to use account ID. Account ID. Perfect. Now, this setting here alone is enough to make the integration work. But I want to get, however, when it comes to analyzing my responses in Survicate, I need to think of what other information that I would like to pass so that it will help me analyze my survey results more effectively. So for my business, information I care about could be, for example, company size, like what I want to see the differentiation between NPS coming from companies of different sizes. So I can add that in my survey URL to capture it from Salesforce. Let's say company size. Another information I might be wondering from my customers, my accounts could be, for example, their subscription. Like I want to also compare the NPS results with their subscription name and with their subscription amount or things like that. So I'm also going to add this field here. And maybe I also want to see how different personas have different roles, like how NPS score look on these different roles. For that, I'm also going to add, for example, contact role. All right, now that I have my survey link and this merge tags added to my survey link, all I need to do is to capture this embedded code, because every variable that you add, it also automatically adds to the code itself. Copy it from here, and now we are ready to share or survey from Salesforce and go further on that. All right, so let's go ahead and create our NPS template first. So I'm going to, okay, maybe let me quickly walk you through what we're going to do here. So first what we're going to do is automating the process of sending the survey in Salesforce. So the goal here is to send the survey every time lifecycle stage in my customer's profile is changed. Using a similar method, of course, you can send the survey, for example, whenever a deal is won, whenever a ticket is closed, or you can also set up some time-based triggers for sending the survey, let's say every quarter. And in my case, I have this lifecycle stage field as a field in Salesforce contact profile. So I will set up an automation every time this field is changed. But we are going to use Salesforce Flow to do this. But of course, that you can use any different automation methods that Salesforce offers. Like you can use Apex, you can use Process Builder, or any other automation that is already available in Salesforce. All right, so first let's go ahead and build our template. Let's see, email. New template. I'm going with a custom one without the letterhead. Life cycle NPS template. Nickname. Next. Oh, wait. Let's make it available for use. All right. Next, subject. Let's say for the subject line, maybe would you recommend Survicate? All right. For the body, we just need to paste the code that we copied from Survicate, and that should be it. All right, so our template is ready. Now, because we are going to set up the automation in Flow, we also need to create our email alert already. So let's go ahead and do that. Email alerts. Let's create one from here. Send NPS survey when life cycle stages changed. Object. For this, as I said, I'm going to send the survey to my contact, so I'm going to use the contact object, but of course you can use what object, any other object that you want to send the survey. I'm going to just pick my email template. I know you don't see this, but lifecycle NPS, all right. And we are going to send the email to the contact email field. Oops, not new, but anyway, all right. So now that we have our email alert ready, all we need to do is go ahead and set up the flow. So let's go to flows, new flow. All right, so we are going to be using a record triggered flow today. Flow builder object, again, my contact object. Whenever a record is updated and the requirement for my flow to trigger, they should be, as I said, it's going to be the lifecycle stage changing. So if the lifecycle stage changes to, for example, onboarding, adoption, and finally renewal. Perfect. And all the other settings are there. And next, I just need to insert this email alert that I just created. NPS survey when a lifecycle stage is changed. Lifecycle NPS. And for the ID, I'm just going to put in the record unique ID. All right. So now when I, one more time. NPS. All right. All right, so now when I set up my, when I activate my flow, if it did everything correctly, my survey should be sent to the contact that I want to send it to. So here I have my test contact with my email address. I'm just going to quickly go and change her lifecycle stage here. Okay, it's already there. Let's change it to adoption, save. All right, so if everything went well, we should have it here. And there we go. Would you recommend Survicate? So maybe let's give 5 to see the detractor experience. Let's go ahead with 5. All right, I'd like to recommend. Let's pick customer service and missing features to see how the survey will behave, what features are missing. Okay, I'm just going to call it test. Anything else? Let's say test. Oops. Follow. Give me just 1 second, please. Okay, let's just say test. Let's just say test follow. No, follow up test. Okay, follow up test. All right, perfect. So, if we did everything correctly, this feedback should be fed into my survey here, the object that I have for my surveys. And right, so there we go. So my NPS score is populated, and also my follow-up test results is also populated here. And because we set up the conditions to match the contact and account with the correct contact and account in Salesforce, I'm also able to see the contact that gave the response as well as the account that they belong to. Okay, so let's now talk about how to act, what we can do with this feedback, because of course, collecting the responses on their own, they don't really do much for your business unless you actually act on them. So today we are going to talk with you about a couple options that we think you can actually use for your feedback and what you can actually do with your feedback. So let's start with a few one-to-one actions that you can actually do. So first thing that comes to our mind was setting up some email notifications so that you can send your survey responses to the desired email addresses based on some specific conditions. For example, whenever a respondent gives a negative feedback, for example, whenever a respondent gives a negative feedback, you can send this response to your support email address so that your support team can take rapid action. Just like in this case, whenever response is between 0 to 8, then we can send the we can send the response to our support team that they can continue talking with the customer. Next one could be is of course Slack and Microsoft Teams notifications, because if you're a company that uses Slack or Microsoft Teams, you know how these tools kind of become like this go-to place for any notification or alert for you. And we believe that your survey alerts should be no different than that. So when you're building your survey on the Connect app, you can set up notifications to your desired Slack or Microsoft Teams channels. This way, you'll be able to keep your company in the loop about your customers' insight. Everyone will get to see them, act on them, and you will ensure that no feedback gets unnoticed. This is an example from our Slack channel. Of course, everything is test data, by the way, everything that we've been showing so far. Right. So in this case, for example, we are sending our surveys to a survey responses channel. You can set up some conditions for when this Slack notification will go. And on the Slack itself, you can see the responses to the questions that your customer left, and also information that you are collecting from your respondent. Then next, you can also set up notifications right inside Salesforce, because you are sending survey results there, right? For example, in this case, what we want to do is to alert the customer success manager of an account whenever there's a new NPS response. So for this, we used NPS survey object, and what we did was to just create the email alert right inside Salesforce, and for the recipient, we send it to the account owner, which is in our case is the CSM of the account. Then finally, we also have there's also another option. This is about sort of support. This is more what you can do as one-to-many actions, like more automated actions. So today we are going. This example that I'm showing here is to sending a referral program invitation email to our promoters. What we did is simply, again, using a flow, we set up a condition that whenever an NPS score is greater than or equal to 9, we set input some value, we send a referral program email to the contact that left this feedback. But of course, you can use a similar method to support any other marketing activities of your company, right? You can invite your customers to leave a review on a platform like G2 Crowd, on Capterra, on Trustpilot. You can ask them to participate in a success study with you. You can ask them for a testimonial. Yeah, so this is a good way for automating customer feedback to support marketing efforts. By the way, on the topic of referral program, we also recently launched our referral program. So if you refer Survicate to a colleague, you can get 20% of their revenue share for the first year. For every customer that signs up through your link. So if you missed it, you can also find more information by clicking refer Survicate button on the I'm sorry if you're catching some background noise. By refer Survicate button on the question mark icon on the upper right side of your Survicate panel. So if you missed it, be sure to check that out. Okay, so now that we have some automations in place to act on our feedback, let's go ahead and talk about how we can also analyze those survey results in Survicate. I have a survey here that has already some responses collected, so I'm going to use it for today. So this first view that you see here is your survey's overall result dashboard. So here we automatically calculate metrics like NPS and customer satisfaction score, so that you can capture like so presentation ready reports is what we call them. And add them to your presentation slides, reports, or any other place that you want to use them. You can also see some service specific metrics here, of course, like the service completion rate, number of views, etc. Like when we were setting up the merge text, the variables from the share tab, we also added some additional parameters to our survey URL. Those additional parameters are essentially going to help us to filter our survey results right here, so that we can actually get more, so that we can drill a little bit into our customers' feedback. For example, I can see, let's say I only want to see the responses that are coming from my customers that are have over 1,000 employees. So I can, for example, search my NPS results for them, or I can, I don't know, use, let's say, my contact role, let's say only from customer success teams. So my customer NPS score from the customer success teams was 31 and things like that. On the next tab, under individual responses, you can see respondent level analytics. Again, only test data here, no human data is used. So for example, here you can actually see and drill down each and every feedback, understand the reason behind it a little bit more. On the right side here, you will also get to see these attributes, this information about your customers, so that you know who is the person that's answering the survey. All right, so that is all from my side for today. So maybe let me give the mic to Maciej.
I'm back. Hello, everybody. Let me get the slides back up there. Thank you so much, Elul, for that extensive and in-depth demonstration. A round of applause for Elul again, or whatever you're doing, do it in the chat or in real life, whatever you prefer. A quick side note, if you caught yourself thinking, wow, this presentation was so easy on the eyes, well, that's most likely because it was entirely done in our not too long ago shipped dark mode. You asked for it, we listened. Give it up for dark mode in the chat room. And speaking of chat, you've all been so patient. Let's start answering your questions. What do we got, Paulina? I see we have some questions here. Awesome. All right.
Right.
Who do we have to do like a dice roll?
Uh,
All right. How about this question? This is from Jenna. And will there be an update to have the Salesforce fields on the auto-generated code created by Survicate to generate Lightning fields instead of the classic fields?
Yeah, well, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
We know that our product team is already considering adding a feature like that, but thank you so much for bringing it up once again. So we will definitely pass it to them right after our chat, and Jenna, we will also let you know once that feature is released.
What else we got? Okay, how about Jenna here? Is this for classic emails only, or we can use them on Lightning emails as well?
Mhm. Well, thank you so much for the question, Jenna. That's a really good question again. So basically, you can use both. However, when you're using Lightning email templates, you need to replace the merge tags yourself because, or basically, that selector only is built for the classic email templates. So, but if you need any help with that, you can just write to our support team from the chat inside our product, and we'll be more than happy to help you out with changing the merge tags in your survey template.
Awesome. What else we have? Okay, we have another one here. Rick, can we send only certain responses via email or Slack? Example, if I have poor feedback that requires attention. That's a good question.
Yeah, exactly. Um, Not only certain responses. Basically, you have two options. Maybe let me put it. Yeah, you have two options, or actually more than two, but you can send survey responses that you can send all your survey responses to Slack, or you can all receive them via email, or you can select what kind of responses that you want to receive on Slack or on your email. Basically, you have both options to go with. You can either send only a particular on some specific responses or all responses. This is up to you.
I hope that answered the question for Rick there. Thank you for that. Who else do we have? Okay, do you always have, do we, okay, Jennifer asked, do you always have to use the classic email templates? It didn't work for me as Lightning template.
Okay, I think we briefly replied to that, but the reason that the Lightning template didn't work is because the merge tags are not suitable for the Lightning template. So in this case, what you just need to do is to change the change the merge tags in the survey template, and it should work. But again, if you need any help with that, then we will be more than happy to help you out.
There we go. Awesome. Who else do we have? Okay, Mateusz asks, so Salesforce Flow can be used for Survicate. How about Engagement Studio or Journey Builder in Marketing Cloud? Can we automate using them?
Um, I'm not familiar with Engagement Studio and Journey Builder in Marketing Cloud. However, to give you an idea, we are operating on objects by updating or creating them. So if Engagement Studio and Journey Builder are suitable for working with objects as well, then that could be possible.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And I think we have another question. I believe it was somewhat asked by Jennifer, but maybe we can go over this one again, I suppose. Let's see.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
I see one from Rick just
Okay,
now.
yes. I see that. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Oh,
oh,
okay. So the question from Rick was, I wanted to know more about in-product surveys. Does this allow us to do things like survey customers in Salesforce chat?
okay, that's a really good request, Rick. At the moment, in product, the in product service we offer are service that triggers as a pop-up inside your product, so they do not trigger inside Salesforce chat. But that is also something that we will for sure pass to our product team
Awesome.
for something to consider for future development.
Mm-hmm. No problem, Rick. All right. What else do we have? Is that all for today? I'm trying to look over the chat here. Nope, that's Paulina. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all. I guess that's all we have for today. Unless anybody else has any more questions, we can wrap this up. Uh, yeah. So I guess with that question, we're about to ready to wrap this up. Uh, First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. It means a lot to us. We hope that you had a chance to not just hear about, but actually experience the improvements that our whole team has been working on for you. If you enjoyed this webinar, we've got good news for you because we'll definitely be running more of these type of webinars whenever the opportunity arises. And of course, we wouldn't be who we are if we didn't send you a survey after this session. So expect that. I would appreciate it if you fill that out. It'll give you a general idea of what you liked and what you really liked, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff. Remember, if there were some questions that we weren't able to answer during the webinar, we'll be getting back to you. We won't leave you hanging. And for the people who simply have a question that comes up after, reach out to us through email or chat to our wonderful support team, and we'll take care of you. As mentioned at the start, we are recording, which means everyone who registered will be receiving the recording in an email follow up. Oh, yeah, and also, before I forget, a quick shout out to our YouTube page. Recently, Sabina and our marketing team have been working hard to give new life to that channel. So you'll find creative, informative, fun, and engaging content there for all your business strategy needs. So subscribe, hit the like button, and all that stuff YouTubers say. So thank you again, everyone. Lul for the wonderful demonstration. Paulino for making sure everyone stays civil in the chat. And of course, all of you for showing up and being here with us, and all the wonderful people who asked questions. Jenna, Jennifer, Rick, everybody, and everyone involved in today's session. See you in the next one.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you.